one tribe, y'all. We one tribe, y'all. We are one people. Let's catch amnesia. Forget about all that.
Welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Unrooted Women's Volleyball Edition. And my guest for this episode is none other than new head coach of Menlo College Women's Volleyball, Denise Sheldon. Denise, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Brian.
You're very welcome. Let's get to know you a little bit better. I'll ask you a couple questions. You were a collegiate player at the University of Nevada, Reno, where you were a first-team All-Western Athletic Conference player back when they were in the WAC. At that time, did you know that you wanted to get into coaching down the road?
Yeah, I started coaching the same year that I started playing volleyball. So I went to high school right next at Sacred Heart Prep, and I started when I was a freshman in high school. And when I was a freshman, I was like the 6th grade coach at like what is now Sacred Heart School, and it was St. Joseph's back then. So I've actually been coaching now that I don't play anymore. I've been coaching a lot longer than I've been playing. So it's kind of always been a part of me. The first year that I didn't coach volleyball in my whole career was just 3 years ago when I really started taking on a lot of responsibility with our national teams. And so I just took a short break, and now I'm back at it again. So I'm excited to be back on the court.
Yeah, you highlighted it with your role as the team manager for the U.S. women's national team. You went to the 2016 Rio Olympics as a part of that. What was that experience like?
I did. It was incredible. We worked really hard, and we won a bronze medal. So it was, just being a part of excellence at that level of any sport is pretty incredible. And I was so lucky to learn from the athletes I worked with, the coaches and staff I worked with, not just on our team, but for all of the Olympic Committee, all the different sports, and really like from, different teams from different countries. Like they're doing things differently, and you get to learn, how other people are doing things, it's just an incredible experience to be at that level. However, it's also the toughest thing I've ever done because we won a bronze medal. We went into that having won the world championship 2 years prior and going in number 1 in the world, and only losing by 2 points, in the semifinals in the 5th set. And, it's just over a year later, and I'm still in mourning, and I'm still trying to figure out how we could have gotten those 2 points. And, so I can't, it's for sure the hardest thing I think I've been through in my career. It's going through that whole process. But, it's a learning experience, and I'm trying to take everything that I learned from that experience and bring it to Menlo.
Now, where do you keep the gold medal or the bronze medal?
Well, you mean the bronze.
The bronze.
Yeah, I actually do. So at the Olympics, staff do not get medals. So we get rings. So I have a really cool Olympic ring that I get to wear. I did get a medal, though. We get medals at like pretty much every other tournament. So I do have our gold medal from the World Championships in 2014. And that plus the photo that, we took when we won on the medal stand, like that's all in my office. And it's, one of my, proudest moments in my career.
So see, I was just getting ahead of myself when talking about the gold medals.
That's coming this year.
Exactly. That's going to be the next one.
I love
next
that.
one for the trophy case.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, you've worked a lot with scouting and recruiting before. What do you look for in potential recruits at any level?
Yeah, so, obviously at different levels, you're looking for different things. And even when I was looking for athletes for our national teams, I was looking for things that are different than what we look for like at any college. So we're going to look for different things at Menlo, then they're going to look for it at Stanford, then they're going to look for it at Michigan. It's going to be different at all the different levels. But I would say like the biggest theme that runs through it at Menlo, we are working day and night since the day that I started to develop an awesome family and culture within the team. And I'm extremely proud of what we've built so far. And I'm just so stoked for where we're headed with that. And so really, as if there was a recruit watching this right now, like what are we looking for? I'm looking for a great teammate, to be teammates with the other girls on the team, but also with the staff. We're all one team. That's something that we're developing within the team, is like exactly what that means to us. And, so we obviously want great athletes who want to play volleyball, but that stuff comes. I think we, just great human beings who want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and who really are there to, be lifelong support partners for the other women who are on the team.
I like that you start talking about the team because now I got some questions about this year's Oak squad.
Okay.
Last season, Menlo got to the 500 mark after a very strong finish. The team has improved in both seasons since joining the Golden State Athletic Conference. So what are the goals for this year's team?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time to be a part of this team, and I'm really excited. I think the team is really excited about it as well. We said when we came back from our summer break that, the first day on August 6th, that was the worst day of volleyball that we were going to play. And, we were committed to that. And that sounds funny because, right, you're like, today's the worst day we're going to play. But that's basically what are our goals? Well, that's our goal, that August 6th was the worst day of volleyball that we're going to play, and that we are going to relentlessly pursue better. And so that's every minute, every point, every ball, every attempt that we make, every match we play, every week, and every year. We just want to relentlessly pursue better. And so what does that mean, for some kind of end game? I don't know what that means because, there are certain things in any sport, but particularly in a sport like volleyball where, it's the ultimate team sport and you're playing like a game versus gravity, essentially. Like you just have to keep the ball off the ground. That's all you got to do to win this game.
Simple, right?
And it's a tough partner, right? Gravity is a tough one. So there are a lot of things, though, that we just are not under our control. So what we're going to do is just, relentlessly pursue getting better. And if we do that, I think we'll have some great results. But to me, as long as we focus on that process, it's going to be a great season.
Now, that relentless pursuit really seemed to pay off in the opening tournament, the William Jessup Invitational. You guys won 3 of your first 4 matches, and a couple of them in sweep fashion. What seemed to be the strong points from the opening tournament?
I got to meet the team about 3 weeks before the year ended last year in 2017, and then I really was just able to have phone and text conversations and Skype calls and stuff with the team over the summer. So in the 2 weeks that we had before that tournament started, and it wasn't even a full 2 weeks, we were very focused on developing our culture and developing a system that was going to work for us. And so we have begun to develop those things. They need a lot of work. We're just at the beginning of this journey. And so again, today is going to be worse volleyball than we're going to play tomorrow. It's going to, so we have a lot to grow on. And I'm really excited about what we did at the tournament because we were able to implement a lot of things in a really short amount of time. We really fought in the one match that we lost, and we, really played our system, I think, to the level that we can at this point. We just haven't been doing it that long. And so I feel really great about how we did, and, just back to the drawing board, lots of work to do and lots of growth.
Now, 3 of the players that are going to be very pivotal towards that chemistry you're talking about, Emily Sunada, Sierra Busher, and Moya Keikawoha. They all played big roles in last year's team, and the 3 friends return again this year. What role exactly do they have on this team?
I think that question is just like any team, and knowing what role anyone's going to have. That question is in the air a lot because we have a team of 15 really wonderful women who are all working very hard at a lot of new things, and so. That's still being developed. It would be tough for me to tell you exactly what their roles are going to be when I haven't even had that discussion with them yet.
Yeah.
But Emily is actually one of the members of our leadership council. So we have 3 women who are sort of our, I guess some would say captains, but who work together to be the leadership machine for the team, if you will. They worked really hard all summer with some leadership training and just working to be great for this team, and so it's Emily and Monica Ruby and Bailey Gammas. So the 3 of them worked really hard there, and obviously Emily's going to be a big force for us in the middle this year as our most experienced middle blocker. Moya and Sierra, both pin players, and they're going to take a lot of swings and pass a lot of balls for us this year. I feel pretty confident in that. We're really working hard to kind of integrate. We have another Hawaiian on the team who's joined us, so We're now up to 4, and we're really working to integrate everyone into like the full system. So so it's not just about I don't anticipate us getting tons and tons of points off of just 1 or 2 players. I think that it's going to be a lot more balanced this year, and we're going to see contributions from the whole team.
Now, only Kaya Johnson graduated from last year's squad, so there's a lot of familiar faces returning and not many recruits. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me so far about the new Oaks that we're going to see in 2017?
They're so cool, Brian. I'm so excited they've joined our squad. So I mentioned, one of our Hawaiians, and that's Lonnie DuPont Meredith. So we found her on Hawaii, and she's so super stoked to be at Menlo. She's a middle blocker along with Jaden Scott, who's from not too far away in Northern California. So those guys are kind of rounding out the more experienced folks in the middle. Just really cool personalities as well. And then the third is Lucy Herrera, and she's going to be one of our Libros, back row specialists this year, who just brings a lot of experience in that particular, passing and defense. So, just really fun characters to add to our crew.
Now, the GSAC is always a powerhouse when it comes to women's volleyball, so the Oaks might be considered an underdog in certain circles. What do you think about the conference so far, and how will your team be able to compete down the stretch in very tough GSAC play?
Yeah, I am not in a position to say too much because, Brian, I saw my first NAIA volleyball game last Wednesday when we played Bethel. So I'm new and I'm green to the NAIA game, and I'm not super familiar. I've watched a lot of video, but I'm not really familiar with what the teams are bringing. And so, that's a lot of why I say we don't have necessarily, this is our goal. We want to get better every day. And I think if we do, I feel very confident that we're going to compete in the GSAC. I think we will improve our position from last year. Great. Are we an underdog? That's cool. I think we want to have that attitude of embracing the adversity that comes to us. That was a big hallmark of our philosophy with the national team going into Rio. As I'm sure you can imagine, Brazil's kind of a hostile environment for volleyball. They're huge there, and they really love to boo America. And so, so we were really just kind of leaning into the headwinds there. And that's kind of the attitude we're trying to bring here, that, when something crazy goes on and our hotel rooms aren't so good, or, we weren't able to get a meal, we're just embracing that adversity and using that as some fuel to, hey, this is going to make us better. It's going to make us better for now, and it's going to make us better for later when other teams aren't used to that stuff coming to them. And, the lights go out in the gym and you freak out, right? We're not going to freak out because we love it, because that stuff's happened. They were repairing the roof in the gym during our preseason. It was so loud, you wouldn't have been able to hear me if I was standing right next to you. And our team was incredible in those circumstances. They were like, all right, bring it on. This is really loud, but whatever, we'll just yell louder. And so I just, I feel like whatever comes at us, we're going to give it everything we have. And I feel good that, at the end of the season, we will feel good about what we've accomplished.
All right, Denise, let's transition into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 random questions. You give me your best answer.
All right.
Question number 1, which player would be most likely to get lost if she traveled to the Olympic Village?
Wow. The Olympic Village is a big and confusing place. And there are, I would say, if I think about the Olympic Village, the thing I think of most is that there are people there are athletes, the most beautiful, in shape people in the entire world are all confined in one place. That's very distracting. So who would get lost in that situation? I'm going to say Nicole, because I think Nicole would start striking up conversation with other athletes, and we probably would lose her for a while. And she may not actually be lost, but I think we'd lose her for a while with that.
Question number 2, which player would be most likely to grow her hair all the way down to her feet?
Gosh. I would love it if the answer was Lonnie, because she has such cool hair and she hasn't, like, she's been wearing it up. She just wore it down yesterday, like in a ponytail, and it looked so pretty, but I don't think she would. I'm going to say Jade, our setter Jade, just because she has such long, beautiful hair already, and so she probably could pull it off. I don't know if all of us could pull that off.
I don't think that'd be something you want to see during the season, though, would it?
Probably not.
Save that for the December, January area when it gets to winter.
Yeah, like the November, like Movember, like you grow out your mustache, right? Like maybe there's some kind of Janu-HAIR or something. I don't know.
Oh, ooh, Janu-HAIR-y. Wow. Okay, we might have to start something at Menlo.
You're on to something, Brian.
We might have to start it. Get your girls in on that.
Okay.
Question number 3. Which player would be the most resourceful if stranded on a desert island?
Can I have a tie?
Yes.
So our 2 seniors, Bailey Gamez is the first person who comes to mind, and the other one's Hannah Hudson. So Hannah is going to be an RA this year. And so Hannah has been superwoman in the last few weeks, juggling, like she's pretty much been going 6 a.m. till midnight every day, plus, volleyball practices and doing all of her RA training and really dealing with some like heavy topics, and then coming to our practices and like giving it her all with us, and like without skipping a beat. Like she's just been money. And Bailey is, I mean, I've had so many teams in my life, whether I've been on them or, been a staff member, and Bailey's one of the most quintessential, like, mama duck characters you could ever have. So I would feel pretty confident that, like, either of them would be able to handle everything. But I have to throw in one more name, because we went camping in the preseason, and we were just gone for one day. But I kind of gave them all the supplies to do everything that they needed, but they had to plan everything, and they had to cook the meals over an open flame. And I don't know that we would have eaten without Kenzie Carpenter, because she was the one like who was like making the fire, stoking the fire. Like when it started to die, she'd go find some branches, and like, so I can't, like, she might be the survivalist in our group. So, I'd feel pretty good in that situation, actually.
So what I'm hearing is if you're stranded on a desert island, be stranded with Bailey, Hannah, or Kenzie, or some combination thereof.
I would agree. And there are, several on the team that I would say you are in big trouble if that's who you're with on the island, because, I hope you brought some food. I hope you brought water, because it wouldn't work out so well.
All right, now you got to spoil the name of one of those people.
Ooh, well, there were bees at our campsite, and so it was a pretty like common thing to just hear people like Maggie McDonald screaming at the top of her lungs because there was a bee. But I have to, Emily Sunada was also screaming like a crazy person. Like, it was just every time you turned around, someone was going bananas over the fact that there was a bee. So.
And then
they were
somewhere
cute, though.
Bailey or Kenzie pops out of there and has some bee spray, right?
Yeah. And they're like, will you just calm down? It's going to be fine.
Yeah, we're going to live, guys. Don't worry about it. Denise, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Brian. This was fun.
You're welcome. And fans, the season is underway for Menlo College women's volleyball. They're in action on Wednesday. That is the day this episode will be posted, against the University of California at Merced. First serve set for 7 o'clock. Then the Oaks will come home the following week, also on Wednesday the 30th, and they will host UC Merced for their home opener, first serve at 7 o'clock. We invite you to tune into next week's episode when Denise Sheldon will pick the first student athlete to be interviewed by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on Unrooted Women's Volleyball Edition. Until then, we'll see you next week, and take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Denise. So,
one tribe, y'all.